Hi guys, been getting plenty of requests after my two videos of batting to share a few thoughts on the mental side of the game, and I think the mental side of the game is incredibly important. In fact, I think probably 90-95% of the game is mental and about decision making. So I'm going to share a few things that I think are important about the mental side of the game. First of all, we'll start with visualization. So I do a lot of that. Unfortunately, I do most of it when I should be sleeping, and it stops me from doing that. But I like to think about who I'm coming up against. So for instance, say I'm playing against England in an Ashes game, and I think about Stuart Broad and where he's likely to bowl to me, where I'm going to score my runs. I picture him running in at me. I picture hitting the ball through the gap and going to the boundary. Same with, James Anderson or Chris Wokes or Ben Stokes, those guys running in at me and thinking of how they're trying to get me out. Even just playing a nice forward defence, visualising that, and or a nice leave. Just seeing them running in at me and playing the ball and doing that over and over again and getting a feel for it at the same time, just thinking about how I'm going to play, how I'm going to score runs, how I'm going to survive. I think that's really important. So if you can, I think set aside a time to visualise. I should probably do that a bit better instead of doing it while I'm sleeping, but I'm still getting that visualisation in. The next thing I think is routine. I think routine's really important. So for me, I do the same thing every time I walk to the crease. From the moment just before I cross the rope to go out on the field, I do the same thing all the way to the middle. I do the same thing once I get to the middle, and then I do the same thing every ball. So that's, I mess around with myself and touch a few different parts of my body. I do one in the middle, 2 taps behind my foot. I look up again, I do 2 taps behind my foot, then I do 1 tap, and then I'm good to play. And I do that every ball. So it's just something to go back to. And that way I can just think about my routine and not worry or think too much about what's going on at the other end, because I've done all that. I've done all the visualizing. I know what's happening, and it's just about playing the ball now. So I do that every ball, and in between balls, if I say I forward defend one, nothing's happening, ball's dead, walk away, switch off for a little bit, give yourself a few seconds, because we can't be focused the whole time. So if you get a chance to switch your brain off and just relax for a few seconds, I think that's important. So I walk to square leg, a few steps that way, and just mess around. I look at things on the ground. If there's loose bits of turf, I kind of hit them away, and I just sort of switch off, and then I get back to the crease and go through my routine again every ball. And I think that's really important. Also, when you're at the other end, you're at the non-strikers end, I think it's important to switch off down there. You're not facing. Obviously, you want to be helping your mate out as much as you can at the other end, but that's a time for you to switch off and give your mind a chance to have a break. Because if you're going to bat for long periods of time, you can't be focused the whole time. You've got to switch your brain off, switch it back on, switch it off, switch it on, and I think that's really important. The next one, I think I guess probably my final bit of advice is, for me, it's important to let go of urges out in the middle and catch my thinking. So particularly in the longer form of the game, where you want to bat for long periods of time, you want to be out in the middle batting. So you can't score runs back in the shed. So for me, catching my thoughts are really important. So if I get a thought in my mind where I'm feeling really good and I just want to smack someone, that happens every now and again. I just want to smack someone, and a lot of the time if I try and do it, it'll probably come off. But you have to be able to think and say, is this the right thing for the team right now? If I get out, or if I don't execute the way I want to do, what does that look like? And where am I going to be? And if I mess it up, there's a good chance I'll be back in the pavilion and I'll be angry at myself for making a mistake. So catch my thought and say, right, no, it's not time to do that. It's time to just focus on the ball and play whatever comes at me. I think you can, the shorter the formats go, so one-day cricket and T20 cricket, you can let those thoughts come in sometimes and you can give in to those urges. T20 cricket's about scoring runs at a pretty good rate, so more improvisation, more premeditation. You can do that in the shorter formats of the game because you can take more risks. But for me, particularly in the long form of the game, it's catching my thoughts as they're happening, not waiting until I've made a mistake and then catching it afterwards and being angry at myself back in the sheds. It's catching it before it actually happens. So for me, I think those are the most important things. Obviously batting for long periods of time, you've got to concentrate for long periods of time. So in the nets, concentrate on facing each ball, training as if you're playing, being disciplined with yourself, not getting out in the nets, because you can train really bad habits. So discipline, catching your thoughts, routines, and visualization. They're the big ones for me when it comes to the mental side of the game. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video so far. Let me know what you guys think, and we'll do another one of these soon. Cheers.